My 83-year-old mum, Rhoda, has shown quite literally millions of people that it's possible to get stronger later in life and to dramatically improve your quality of life by doing so. But today I want to show you what that really meant for her when she recently travelled to Spain for a week with my dad. Because a couple of years ago, when they made the same journey, my mum had to take her upright walker with her, relying on it for almost any distance beyond a few steps. This time, she only took her walking cane. And as you'll hear, this was the trip that truly made her realise she had got her life back. We'll also update you on where she is now with her training 18 months into her strength journey, and we'll take another walk together down the path near our home so you can see the difference in her speed and power for yourself. This is Rebuilding Mum and Dad, the series that follows my parents' strength training journey as they reclaim their health, independence and mobility in their 80s. One of the biggest fears for many older people with mobility problems is travel. Not necessarily the destination itself, but the sheer physical challenge of getting there. All the walking, waiting and standing around can be daunting, and that was particularly true for my mum. If you're new here, she was diagnosed with osteoporosis in her 60s and found it increasingly difficult to hold her back upright as she walked due to muscle loss, which eventually meant she couldn't walk for more than 30 seconds unaided. And that meant she could only really walk outdoors using an upright walker or rollator. That situation has changed because in January 2025, my parents and I began weight training using a barbell to reverse muscle loss in order to preserve our mobility, independence and long-term health as we age. In under a year, the transformation was incredible, and 18 months on, my mum's life looks very different because she's able to get around more easily, open and move things for herself, stand upright in the shower and generally live more safely and actively. Her record to date has been walking for just over 10 minutes without any support. So when my parents travelled to Spain recently, she decided to leave her rollator at home, but they booked airport assistance as they had before to prevent my mum having to walk long distances with just her stick for support. But when the plane landed, there was confusion. The assistance team hadn't arrived, and instead of waiting on the aircraft, my parents ended up just walking, and not a few steps, but from the plane, through the airport, through passport control, baggage reclaim, the whole process, using only her walking cane.
You got off the flight when you got to Spain. You didn't realise you were supposed to wait on the aircraft. There was no assistance.
That's right.
So how long did you walk?
Yeah, we had to walk to the picking up the luggage.
Gosh. So through customs and the
All
whole
that.
thing. It's got to be at least 20 minutes for something like
I
that.
would have
think
thought so.
That's what
I
Dad
would have
thought.
thought
And you
so.
did it, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Did you feel like this trip, because you only had your walking stick with you and you were able to go shopping and walk around the malls and stuff, did you feel like you'd got your life back a bit?
Oh, yes, definitely. We walked into the mall and went to the shop that I wanted to go to, unaided, with nothing. And met up with Margaret, my sister-in-law, and she had a trolley. And she said, "Oh, you have this trolley." So I was pushing the trolley, and it was quite a high trolley. So
Excellent.
that held me up.
Yeah.
And, oh, I felt great.
Yes.
Pushing the trolley around the mall was great.
Yeah.
That was a bit of an eye-opener.
One of the things my mum enjoyed doing most on her trip was just being able to walk around the shops again and browse, stroll, stop and look at things. These are small things until you lose them. And when mobility declines, gradually life just gets smaller and smaller. But she's also noticing big differences in how she's functioning at home. And as you'll hear, she's regained an incredible capacity to whiz through the house doing her cleaning.
Well, yesterday I cleaned the kitchen down on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor.
Yeah.
The downstairs toilet and 2 bathrooms upstairs. Before lunch, I hoovered our own bedroom, the stairs, the front porch, and hallway, the office, and the sitting room.
And how did you feel after all of that?
No pain whatsoever.
And how does that compare to 18 months ago?
Oh, chalk and cheese. By the time I'd done the second bathroom upstairs, the time I'd got to the last bathroom, I really would be on my knees
What a shame.
and in terrible pain.
Oh my goodness.
First thing I would do is come downstairs and take 2 cocodamol painkillers.
What's the first thing you did yesterday when you came downstairs?
Never even remembered I had painkillers to take. Didn't need them.
Had a cup of tea instead.
Had a cup of tea or a cup of coffee.
This is why rebuilding strength matters so much, because in rebuilding muscle, you're also rebuilding the freedom, function, and quality of life that it brings. We live in Scotland, but my parents are coached online by Chris Rees, a doctor of physical therapy and head coach with Starting Strength Cincinnati. And Starting Strength gyms are supporting our journey as a sponsor of Rebuilding Mum and Dad, helping us bring you these regular updates. We chose Starting Strength because their approach centers on progressive loading with a barbell, working multiple muscle groups at once, which is one of the most effective ways to build muscle and improve bone density. Using a barbell and rack plus a mixture of heavier and micro weights meant we could start light and add load very gradually and carefully, sometimes by only a kilo or even less each week. And this has been key to helping my parents rebuild safely and steadily. Starting Strength gyms have locations across the US and offer online coaching anywhere in the world. If you'd like to get stronger or help someone you love do the same, you'll find information in the description below. So where is my mum now with her strength training? As you heard, she's been on holiday and she also struggled with a really nasty stomach virus, so she has stepped back in weights at the moment to allow herself to build back up again. That means that while she previously lifted up to 47 kilos, over 100 pounds on her deadlift, she's now closer to 37 kilos. And similarly, she's lifting around 16 kilos, 35 pounds overhead, while her top weight has been 18 kilos. She's squatting with around 15 kilos on a weighted vest rather than her usual 20, and she's bench pressing around 23 kilos, just a few under her previous top weight. But each time she steps back and starts building up towards those more challenging weights again, we really see how her underlying strength has developed. I never see it more clearly than on her bench press, and I find myself watching with a huge smile on my face now, because the strength in her arms as she now punches the bar in the air is so obvious, and it's such a striking sight to see an 83-year-old woman do that. My dad is similarly just lifting slightly lighter after their holiday to build back up to some of his heavier weights, including his spectacular 97 kilo deadlift. That's over 200 pounds. And they are remarkable for their determination and consistency. After holidays, busy periods, setback and illness, they keep showing up, and that consistency is what's changed them over time. One thing we've increasingly realized is just how important nutrition becomes as we age. If you saw my recent episode about how I was hitting a wall with my own training, you'll know Coach Chris told me I likely wasn't eating enough overall, and certainly not enough protein. And if that's true for me at 53, it's even more relevant for my mum. As we get older, appetite often reduces, and many older people simply don't eat enough protein to properly support muscle maintenance and growth. So making sure my mum is eating well consistently, particularly enough protein, is something we're paying much closer attention to now.
The older you get, the more you need. So you know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I know where you're going.
We're also often asked if my mum takes creatine and any other supplements. She does, and I'll include a link in the description below to a page where I list all the healthy aging supplements and tools we use, along with any discount codes that I have for them. I share my product recommendations on the Shop My shopping platform. They have a brand new shopper app, and if you download it and create your free shopper profile, you can see all of the products that I use and have tried, tested and recommend in one place. So you'll find a link to set up your account in the description, and from there you can just search The Honest Channel and our page will pop up. Finally, as we were walking on the path recently, I was of course timing my mum to see how far she could go unsupported, because this path has become a bit of a symbol of my mum's journey, where we've seen her go from walking mere seconds unsupported to over 10 minutes. So how did she fare when we walked the other day? Well, she did walk unsupported for 10 minutes again, so her time hasn't increased, but what has changed is her pace. She went significantly further and faster this time, so she probably wore herself out more quickly. But walking pace is one of the strongest indicators of health, reflecting the condition of your muscles, bone, heart, lungs and brain. Slower walking speeds can be an early warning sign for cognitive or physical decline, so it was great to see my mum racing down the path like this.
Yeah, feels good.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I was pleased with the walk. I felt I was stronger. I could go further without getting totally out of breath.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of pain.
And you were fast. Very very good speed.
Yeah, almost normal. I felt I was walking almost normal, coming out of the gate and across the road.
Normal for a younger person.
Yeah.
When you were walking at that pace for the first few minutes, it didn't look like an 83-year-old walking.
Yeah, right, okay.
You know, you were fast, you had balance, you had power, the kind of thing that we haven't seen, you know.
Yeah.
2 years ago, with nothing.
No, you're right, yeah.
What we saw with this latest walk and what we've heard from my mum when she talked about how much more she can do around the house day to day is a return of power to her body through muscle. And if you have any doubts about the benefits of weight training, then let me share one of the most recent studies involving no less than 150,000 people. And it showed doing just 90 minutes to 2 hours of strength training per week can greatly reduce the risk of an early death. Data gathered from the decades-long study suggested that carrying out regular weight training over an extended period can significantly lower the chance of death from heart disease and stroke. The benefits also included reducing the risk of death from neurological disease, because it turns out lifting weights also has a protective effect on your brain. Strength training literally improves your function from head to toe and is the answer to keeping you independent with quality of life for longer. So if you found this episode helpful, please do give it a like. It really helps us reach more people who might need to hear this message. Make sure to subscribe or follow if you haven't already. And to make sure you never miss an episode, sign up to my free newsletter and I'll send them to your inbox. Finally, if you want to see more from the Honest channel, including behind the scenes short vlogs from me, just click join below this episode. But for now, stay strong and thank you for being here today.